Welcome, 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 welcome. It's another beautiful Saturday morning. And when you get on here, please share to be a blessing as I do so on our other platforms. Be a blessing to somebody. Be a blessing to somebody. Once you get on here, be a blessing to someone. You are welcome. It's another beautiful Saturday morning. And today, we are going to talk about our health. We are going to dive into another thing. As we always say on here, we learn from each other. We go all out. We don't put ourselves in a box. So if you are here, please share to be a blessing as I do same. You see me looking down because I am sharing on our other platforms. So do same when you get on here. Do same when you get on here. How has your weekend been? How has your weekend been? How has your weekend been? How have you been? As we share onto other platforms, as we share onto family and friends, call a friend to call a friend, call a friend to call a brother. Be a blessing to somebody. Be a blessing to a friend. Be a blessing to someone. Be a blessing. How has your week been? How have you been? It is a beautiful, beautiful Saturday once again. God has been good. Without Him, we're nothing. Without Him, we wouldn't be here. So we are blessed to be on here. We are grateful to be on here. As I say, as I share to our other platforms, do same for others to join on here. Do same for others to join us on here. Thanks for joining us. You are welcome. You are welcome. You are welcome. As I uh, share, please be a blessing to others as well. You are welcome. But my week has been good. My week has been good, and I hope yours has been marvelous too. Call a friend to call a friend. Call a brother to call a friend. Call a sister to call a friend. Let us have this conversation. Let us have this in real time. You know, our health matters. Our health matters. And then if we don't, or if we decide not to take that time, if we decide not to rest, if we decide not to take time away from our busy schedule to rest, then we would not be able to continue. We will not be able to do anything. We will not be able to go ahead, right? We will not be able to go ahead and do what we need to do. So it is very important. It is of importance that we rest. It is of importance that we take time out and rest. We take time out and take time away from work, right? It is very, very important for us to do that. So this is what we'll be talking about this day, this morning, as I as you're looking at me, I'm looking down because we're sharing onto our platforms. Be a blessing to somebody and share this for us. Be a blessing to someone. Somebody needs to hear this. Someone needs to hear this. Someone needs to hear this as we um, talk and go ahead and we wait for others to join. Be a blessing to somebody. When you get on here, please share to be a blessing. Share to invite somebody as we take this conversation to another level. Be a blessing to them. You know, it is important that we take time to rest. It is important that we take time away to rejuvenate. It is important that we take time to relax our mind, our brains, and everything that we do. It is of importance for us to do that. So it is very much so that we take time out, we apportion that time out, we apportion that resource out to stay and focus on resting, focus on relaxing, focus on regaining the energy that we have lost throughout the day, throughout the years, throughout the week, right? Most of us think that resting is not important to us. They think that we think that, oh, I need to do this, I need to go, so I cannot rest, I cannot stop, and so we end up. Thanks for joining, my brother Kwame Testimony. I salute you too. I salute you as well. How are you doing? 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 How are you doing, my brother? Please share to be a blessing to others for us. So people think that, oh, I don't need to take time out and rest. I don't need to relax because I have so much on my plate. That is what we say to ourselves. I have so much on my plate that I need to keep going. I have so much on my plate that I cannot afford to rest. But listen, if you do not rest, you end up being on the losing end. You end up losing. You end up losing everything that you have worked so hard to get. You end up losing yourself. You end up losing your resources because you're not thinking right? You're not thinking straight. So it is of importance that we do so. We take time to rest. It is of importance that we take time to exercise that ability, exercise that resource that we have, exercise that option that we have. That is the only way we'll be able to rest. That is the only way we'll be able to gain full consciousness, to gain full potential, to gain everything that we have lost in the process, right? Take time out to rest. Rest is very much important. Rest is very, very much important. And most of us don't think of it that way. We think that we need to go. If we don't go, we don't put things, we don't put food on the table. I get that. But it is also important that we take the time out to relax our brain, to take the time out to relax ourselves, to take the time out to rejuvenate what we've lost. And today, I think my guest is on here. There we go. And today I have here with me our guest speaker, Dr. Joel Isor, here to help us digest this whole topic of rest. So, Doc, thanks for joining. Thanks so much for apportioning time to join me this morning. So, before you join us, I was just talking a little bit about the topic here. But viewers, for those joining us who don't know what this is a Dose of Encouragement Incorporated, and you are more than welcome. Today, we're talking about the topic rest and its importance. If you have any questions, please do well to put it in the comment section, and we would do our best to address it. But thanks, welcome, Doc. How are you doing? How have you been? Thank you so much for taking time out. Can you tell us a bit about what you do, what you specialize in, so our audience get to know you better? Because as I always say on this platform, it is what, one second, let me put this thing on do not disturb. It is for us to learn from each other. So it is not a one-way street. We learn from you, you learn from us. So if you can tell us a little bit about what you do and what you specialize in, so our viewers can, get acquaintance, will be much great appreciated.
All right, thank you very much, Madam Amanda. Okay, my name is Joel Aidane. So I'm an REI, that's a reproductive endocrinologist. So basically, I specialize much on reproductive health, and then I am with the Royal Natural Health and then Wellness Clinic.
I think we lost our. Oh, there he is.
And then I have my own private.
I think he is having a little bit issue with his connection. So there he is back.
Okay. So, like I was saying, I'm an REI. So basically, reproductive health, anything much more with reproduction. That is what I.
Okay. So thanks so much for joining us today. So the topic today, we're just gonna dive right in. The topic we're talking about today is rest and its importance, right? Most of us think that we don't have the time to rest. We don't have that time to lose. We cannot afford to lose. And so we do not take rest. We do not take the time out to rejuvenate. We do not take the time out to exercise some free time or self-care, so what is rest in its totality? When we talk as a professional, as a health professional, when somebody talk of rest, when you tell your patient that, hey, you need rest, what are you really telling them to do?
Okay, thank you very much. And then a very great day to your viewers and then everybody watching us today. Basically, when we say rest, basically, like you stated, it's the ability to take time off yourself as an individual, cease in terms of your brain, putting your brain to sleep, and then having a relaxation time in terms of the body. So, if you are to rest, we are looking at the body itself being in a relaxed or a stable form, and then the mind so there are several times when we ask somebody to rest, the person would still be sleeping but will be thinking about other things. You ask somebody maybe to make time to sleep, the person will still be in bed but might not be able to close their eyes or might not be able to do anything at all because we are just he or she was being pushed to sleep, or it is a
Hmm.
doctor's recommendation that go to bed, so he or she is trying to just be lie down, maybe do nothing. People now with the new technology, people would just be on phone, maybe going online, reading or doing something. They think or they see that as a form of rest. But when we say rest, it's basically to cease movement or to cease
Hmm.
work. So when we say someone should rest, what we are trying to do is that put a hold on whatever you are doing. You are basically not supposed to be on phone or so. Once upon a time when we were in school, we had something we call the siesta.
Mm-hmm.
That is the
Which most of
definition.
us don't sleep. We just be lying on our bed.
That is the actual purpose of the rest. We needed it. The school realized that as students, as individuals growing up, we needed that to be able to just help us to start afresh or to be able to get up with a renewed mindset, get up
Hmm.
with a different mind. Call when you rest and then you wake up, you feel refreshed, you feel renewed, you feel rejuvenated. Realize that if you were going through a stress, you have paused, and when you pause to take some nap, your blood flow has changed, your blood circulation, your BP, your pulse, everything starts afresh. So if there was
Okay.
a particular kind of blood flow, if there was a particular kind of blood pump that the body or the heart pumps to that individual, when you rest and then you wake up, it starts afresh. So now it starts from that 120/80. Your heartbeat also now beats 60 beats per minute because of that nap or that rest that you took. But now, when they say rest, rest has become just let me lie down, think about life. Let me lie down,
Mm-hmm.
be on my phone. We don't term that as rest.
Mm.
That's a different thing, and then that is what most people tend to do now as rest. But basically, that is not rest. And people sometimes mistaking sleep with rest as well.
I was just going to ask that when you had that are they the same?
To sleep means that it's a natural state in the mind and in the body where you are not using. For instance, though I'm in Ghana, my sleep time or per my body structure over a period of 40 days, I have gotten to know that I wake up every morning by 4 a.m. I'm awake, and so by 10 p.m. I'm asleep. So this is a sleep. This is the time, and that you need with a sleep you need a minimum of 8 hours. But
Okay.
with a rest, when we say you are resting, it could be a very short period. It could be even just 40 minutes, it could be just 30 minutes. But with a rest, we are just trying to rejuvenate. You are going through something. The mind is so stressed up. You want to just relax and then just try to unload or offload some of the stress that you are going through. But to sleep, it means that the day has gotten to that peak.
It's over. Mm. Oh, viewers, I think we lost him right there again with the internet connection. There he is back.
Okay.
I don't know. I think there's been internet
Let's do some
issues back and forth. I have been having messages on my Vodafone phone of connections being back and forth. So viewers, pardon us if you're watching us as he tried to fix his internet connection and join us. But as he was saying earlier on, rest is you taking that time, that minute, that few seconds. He constitute it to a minute. All right. I am constituting, or I am adding that you can take that minutes, hours, depending on whatever you want to do. It is very, very much important that you take care of yourself. It is very much important that you take the time out to rest, because it is your strength that you are regaining back. It is your strength that you are recuperating back. It is your strength that you are. There he is. He's back on. Thanks for coming back, Doc. So
Thanks for
please
having.
go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so basically, like I was trying to explain the difference between sleep and then rest. Like I said, with the sleep, it is something natural. It is something that the body needs to have. And then comparing sleep to rest, like I said, with rest, it could be a nap. It could be just 40 minutes. It could be just 20 minutes. But it's so productive because as an individual, for instance, you are in the office. You are working between the time of 8 to 5 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Now, go have your lunch around 12. Between that 12:30 and then 1, you could have a rest where you just be behind your desk, pause whatever you are doing, and then you could just close your eyes for some few period. It is not a time to pray. It is not a time to
Now,
reflect.
won't
It's not
your
a time for
employer think that you are using company's time when you sitting behind your desk and taking that 12-minute nap?
you need that as an employer. He or she should know. If your HR knows that the company have had a stress week, the company has had a stress day, and then you realize that this is the main team lead, this is what he or she is going through, and maybe during the process you realize that there's so much heat, there's so much tension that is being raised at a particular point in time. As an individual, I'm sure your HR should know that this my team is going through one or two headache. So that 30-minute nap wouldn't be anything that should affect productivity, because if you are pushed to work within that time and then you break down, it's going to be a long break, and that one the whole group might have to wait for you to come back again strong before they are able to. So if you allow that 20 to 30 minutes nap or rest, I think it's the best when it comes.
So, Doc, let's deviate a little bit, okay? Let's deviate a little bit. With most of these employers, we just numbers to them. They don't care what their employees go through. So, how then does an employee move to talk to the employer to get them, or for them to come to that same understanding that, hey, yes, we're going to do our work, we're going to do what is expected of us, but then we need this. When I'm doing this, I am not using the company's resources and time. I am apportioning part of my, because when you can use your lunch time for rest if you away from your desk, right? But let's say I don't want to be away, I don't want to go out or to sit on the parking lot, sit in the car or something. And so how do I move to get my employer to understand that if I'm in my seat, if I'm in my office and my screens are shut off, it is not that I am using company's time.
All right. So one thing you should know about rest is that it is not something you should do always. Rest is
Okay.
not a day. So if I'm working in a company where, for instance, I'm working in a clinic, so after maybe a scan, maybe I do a process for someone, a treatment for someone, and then after that we're like, wow, that was tough. You stood by someone, for instance, if it's a child delivery or any other thing, you stood by someone maybe for a period of 40 to 45 minutes. You were standing, you were working, you were going through a process, you finish, you took. And sometimes when you are doing that, you have 1, 2, 3 patients at a time, at a go. So you are going to spend about 4 hours standing. So when you are done with that 4 hours standing, and then you come to sit for about 40 to 30 minutes, I don't think your your superior will be like, hey, why are you sitting down? There are more work to be done. Get moving, get moving. No, that's a God. If in the process you should break down, definitely it's going to affect the company as a whole. So it's the same way you are in the banking sector. The same way you are a teacher. You've taught a class over a time. You ask the student to go for a break. So within that break, during that lunch time for the kids, as a teacher, you could just take some time off, maybe just your head on the table. If you become consistent, that is
They
when
will say teacher is sleeping in class. Oh,
good. So even your student will be like, oh, the teacher is always sleeping. But it's
yes,
that there are days you go through stress. There are days the week is so stressful
true.
you need that rest. It's understandable. But if it becomes something that is kind of on a daily basis, every 15, or except, for instance, except you are pregnant or you're a lady, and then you are going through that stage. But that, for instance, you are having your menses, you're in that time of the month, and then
The early
you
stages. Yep.
with that as an employee, they should understand. As an individual, like I stated earlier, you need it as well. And rest is not sleep. Sleep is when you need ample time to have that kind of sleep you need. But with rest, it could be just even a 10 minutes. It could just be a nap. It could just be 10, 15 minutes just away from everyone and then just be yourself. Just put the head on the table. Just tilt the chair. Then just have a little sleep. And then just get up. You realize that you feel refreshed. Then you feel rejuvenated. We all need it.
So, Doc, what are the signs for us to know that, hey, my body need rest? Are there signs for us to know that when these symptoms are coming up, I really need to take rest? Are there signs like that?
All right. The basic sign you need is fatigue. That is
Okay.
frequent fatigue and frequent stress. You are, for instance, like I stated, you are in a banking sector. You go to work in the morning, you have your breakfast, you start your day, you're taking care of your people, your customers keep coming and going out, filling of forms, doing one or two things, cashing out, doing all those things you need to do. Now, in the process, you realize you begin to feel a bit tired. You begin to feel back pains. You begin to feel that the eyes are getting heavy. These are basic
Is that
signs.
not from the food that person?
No,
Eh,
that is
okay.
that shouldn't be from the food you are eating.
Okay.
Yes, there are. You see, one thing we should know: when we were young, we thought to be in the corporate sector, you need to eat heavy to start the day, but you don't actually need a heavy food to start the day's work. You need
Okay.
something lighter, something cold to start the day's work. So it shouldn't be the food that you have eaten that should make you want to sleep. If you are feeling that, then one thing you should know as an individual is that you should also check the food you are eating as well. That is one thing we
Okay.
should know. Yes.
So,
Aside
Doc, I
that,
have I'm sorry to cut you. I have a question in the comment section. Some people sell their rest for money. Okay. Someone is asking, what is the difference between a nap and a rest?
okay,
And
and
then
now,
what is the difference between a siesta and a nap?
okay, all right. So basically, it's just a change of names. The
Okay.
siesta and rest, basically, they are all the same. Like I stated earlier, when we were in school, when you were in secondary school, there was something called a siesta. That is, you've gone to class. You've been in class, you've been taught the whole day, there have been several activities in the day. Now you're about to start the next segment of your life. That is, you're going to have supper, you go back for prep, and then if there's
Mm.
any other thing to be done, any other activities to be done, you are going to do that. Now, in between that time, the school says, let my student or let the people that are in this community, let them have a little rest. Let them have a nap. You understand? So a nap, a rest, a siesta basically are all the same. It's just a change
Yeah.
of names and the surroundings in which we find ourselves. You can't when you are at home, you have a rest. When you are at some places, you will use the word nap interchangeably for all this. But the siesta, like I said, is a school curriculum. It's a school name that has been given. So the school just says we call it a siesta. At that point, we expect all our students to be asleep. A nap is just trying to take some 5 to 10 minutes off. Just close the eyes, just rejuvenate, just see what is going on. You get up again, you feel rejuvenated, and then I can start the day. A nap, a rest. I'm tired. I'm going through a process. I feel. Let me just pause, cease every activity, just relax for some minutes, and then continue with that activity. So basically, they are the same thing.
So what you're saying is when taking a nap is not the time for you to think about your problems, not a time for you to think of what to do next, what is your next step and all that. Just shut all brain off, shut all thinking off, and just be in your zone. That is what you're saying.
Yes. So let me use this to explain a relaxation. Now I am relaxing. Relaxation basically is when you are getting ready for the next stage of an activity. So in the
Okay.
process, we are relaxed. What do we use to relax? Maybe in that context, a bottle of beer. Maybe in that context, I would want to be on my phone. So I'm relaxing. I'm just waiting for the next action. I'm just waiting for the next activity. So I am relaxed. There is no stress. There is nothing to be done, and I'm just waiting for the next thing. Then I am having a relaxation. So I can be on my phone whilst I relax. I can be listening to some cool music whilst I relax. You understand? But if I need a rest, is something we need. We don't need a relaxation. We need rest. We
Mhm.
need a nap. We need that time off. So if I'm
That
resting,
is the word, time off. That is what we don't do. Time
I need
off.
to put everything aside, put my phone away. With a rest, I don't need music. I need the brain to cease, the brain to shut down. I need me to put my head on the table. I need me to maybe just relax at the back of my chair. Just close my eyes and then just take some rest, take some sleep. That is what I need. But to
So that
relax, you need a music, you need a
so
drink, you need
so
something.
let's divest a little bit. Let's divert a little bit. So I go to bed at night, and let's say I see myself waking up at a particular time in the night, not because I didn't go to bed early, not because I wasn't sleeping when I went to bed, not because I had anything on my mind, right? But I'm just awoke, and it gets harder to fall back to sleep. Are there signs of health issues that this person need to look at? Is there something that the person needs to be like, hey, this thing has been happening for a little bit, I need to go see my doctor about it for it to, or is just that that is how the person's um, um, system is made up?
All right, thank you. We have something we call insomnia. That is your
Okay.
inability. We have the sleep apnea, which is also a disorder in your sleep. Now, these are two things as well that we can discuss with using the question you just asked. Currently in Ghana, there is something we call the Alpha Hour, where people wake up around between 12 to 1 to pray.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one can go to bed around 10. And then at 12, he or she is believed to get up to pray. Now, it becomes something, one interesting thing we should know, something we keep doing over a period of time becomes part
Becomes
of us.
part of that.
So now you keep doing Alpha Hour between Mondays and Fridays. Now I think on Saturdays and Sundays they don't do Alpha Hour, but because you always wake up around 12 to 1 to pray, now it becomes part of you. Saturday at dawn, you realize that you just wake up within that time. You don't have the urge to sleep again. It's a sleep disorder. You have groomed yourself to be that. So with that, you don't need a doctor. You need to psychologically retune your mind that I need to sleep because maybe there's no alpha, there's no prayer time this time around, so I need to sleep. It is not a disorder. Now we have people who are unable to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
It's the insomnia. Now this person has the feels I want to sleep. This person feels I need to sleep. This person goes to bed and is unable to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
He turns, tussle in bed, moves about, and then through the process, sleep comes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you are such a person, there could be several things. There could be a low HP, there could be a disorder that is happening, there could be something. That is when you need to see your doctor. You don't need to be on sleeping pills all the time to be able to sleep.
That was going to be my next question.
You
Okay.
don't need to be on a sleeping pill to be able to sleep. So if you are on a sleeping pill and then you are taking it all the time to be able to aid you in sleeping, you should find out why you are unable to sleep. Is there a problem? Are you having a low HB? Is there a problem? Is there something that is distorting? Is your heartbeat even okay? Is the flow of blood okay? These are things you need to look out for. If you are going through such conditions, if you are going through such problem, these are the things you need to look out for to be able to say that, yeah, I'm okay. There is nothing wrong with me. It's a psychological thing. I need a psychologist to take me through. I need to also structure myself as an individual to be able to sleep around that time if you truly need it. So these are the stages that you need to look out for as an individual to be able to say, let me see my doctor, or let me just ignore.
Viewers, thank you so much for joining. If you're joining us, this is the Dose of Encouragement Incorporated. Please share to be a blessing to others. And if you have any questions, please put it in the comment section below and we will try to answer that. So, Doc, let me ask you this. I know we've touched base here on some benefit of rest. Now, can you take us a little deeper into what are the most benefit? Yes, they are benefit, but there are some benefits that are crucial to human growth, to human health. So what are those crucial benefits for rest, of rest?
Okay. So basically, why do we need to rest? Like we've
Yes.
stated earlier, the main thing you need to is so your body would also be able to have a rejuvenated moment.
Mm.
You've all time working. You've been working since morning, since afternoon. You've been working all over. The body gets to a stage that it will be like, wow, I need some rest. As an individual, you need to give the body that rest. Now, if you should deprive the body of that rest, what it means is that you're going to have pains. You're going to have disorderliness in whatever you are doing. And then in terms of the mindset, you're going to be, if the brain is tired and the brain doesn't go through the regular rest it needs, what it means is that if workload becomes so impaired, you realize that you are working, but you become absent-minded over a period of time. You
Yep.
are doing something, you realize that you are stressed. You become so much stressed that you lose concentration as well. You understand? And if you lose concentration, depending, for instance, I'm a doctor. I need rest. I've taken care of about 6 patients in a day, and then just then an emergency is rushed in. You could ask for your next doctor to take over. It's not always about the money. You could ask your next colleague to take over. If not, they can start. Nurses can resuscitate the person while you try to have that rest. Now, when you come back, you realize that you feel so refreshed. You'll be able to take care of very minute issues that could help you finish that process that you have started on that particular individual. Now, if you
So
don't get that,
let's dwell on the scenario you just gave for a bit. You said you can have your next in line to take over, and that's what human beings refuse to do. You know, people want to be the foreman. People want to be the in charge person. People want to be that person that everybody runs to, right? And when it comes to, so in that situation, and since you brought it up in your line of work, how then does the person that feels in charge tends to move away? Because we all, as subordinate, we can see this person is tired. We can see that this person need at least an hour of operation, an hour of consulting, an hour of anything, but yet they are refusing to do that. Let's talk about that for a bit, and then let's spread it into secular occupations as well.
okay. All right. So, for instance, like I stated, now if I am with my colleagues at work and then we start a process, one thing that I always look out to is that, for instance, we are taking care of a pregnant woman. We've run the basic things, the scans, everything that needs to be done. Whatever we need to work on that particular patient, we are done. Now, I realize I am tired. Maybe my feet are beginning to get worn out. My body, I'm beginning to experience some back pain. What I do is that I just ask my nurse in line, maybe to pick up doing the very minute things that I think would not be a problem or would not obstruct the process that we have started. For
Mm.
instance, if I realize I need a scan for the next patient before we work on that particular patient, I wouldn't be the same person taking the scan. I would call maybe the next in line with the help of the sonographer. They could just start the process while I try to freshen up, whilst I try to take a nap. And then after we look at the scan, we discuss what they saw in the scan, and then we'll be able to know. It's the same thing. For instance, if you're a teacher, that's why currently there are teaching assistants, they are teaching aides. To realize that I'm done. Whatever I'm doing, I really need a 15-minute nap or I need a 20-minute rest. What I do is that I call the assistant to take over. We'll take the children through the recitation of maybe some rhymes, some poems, some action songs, so that you, as the mainstream person, could take a step back and then go take that rest and then come back to be with a student. I don't think that 15 to an hour rest you left for your next in line to take over would make you lose your job or will make your subordinates think they are more powerful than you are. And you see, let me quickly chip this in. A lot of time, like you asked, it happens in the church settings where sometimes the associate pastor will take over the church if you don't take care. Because and there are days people will come in and then they'll be like, wow, the associate pastor preached better than the main pastor, and that will put some fear in the main pastor. But as like I said, if you needed that to rest, and your associate took over, and he did so well, why don't you take more rest and then allow him also to bring out that is what is it? Because if you should die or if you should leave, don't forget it is going to be your associate pastor, which you think might take over the church, actually taking over the church. So giving him or her that time to take that, maybe this Sunday I'm not preaching because I'm tired. I went we did an all night on Friday. Now, on Saturday, there are baby namings, there is a wedding, there are several things to be done. You could leave it to the junior pastors to take over. You don't need to still be the one to officiate those weddings and programs. You need that rest as a man of God so that you can prepare yourself for Sunday. If Sunday comes and then you are still not strong, you can still leave it for the next in line to still take over. It doesn't make you lose your church. Your members would even have the reason to pray more for it because they realize, oh, daddy is tired, bishop is tired, and he needs some rest. And the same applies to the office. You know, one interesting thing is that we are able to take those rest when we are working in the normal settings. We travel, we go out with the family, we go have some rest, some vacations, and all those things. But we fear when we are supposed to do it on that aspect of life. And these are what causes us a lot as individuals. So you need that rest. You need that sleep. It makes your body feel. And you know, one interesting thing, if you should have enough rest and then you come back, realize that even the skin, your body, everything looks so nice as well. Even your speech, everything comes nicer. So we truly, really need those things in our lives as an individual.
So in today's world, right? Cell phones, TV, programs here and there. How do we unplug from rest? From the world to rest? How do we unplug ourselves from the stress? What are some, yes, there might be some things that people are overlooking, right? But what are the basic things that we can do to unplug from this world, from this busy world that we see ourselves in?
Okay. Like I stated in our earlier discussion, you see, one, there are days in life. I think let me use this Ghanaian musician. Is it? I don't know his name. He he took some time off social media. He took some
I
time
think it's
off.
KD or some like
No,
that.
I want to get him. You see, he took time off all those activities, and there were several rumors. There were several news going out. They said, "Oh, he's gotten stroke. He's sick. He's having a liver disease." These are some of the things we hear about ourselves sometimes when we go offline. But like I stated, as individuals, sometimes you need it. You really, really would need it. Now, unplugging yourself. Like I said, if you have a strong and a great background, if you're having a strong and a great subordinate, what's the big deal? Me leaving my social media handle to even currently people leave it for people to handle. So they have handlers. I have a media liaison officer, that's Tio, who handles my Facebook, my TikTok, my Instagram pages for me sometimes. So sometimes when you are away, when you need to unplug yourself, you just let him know, I'm offline. You are handling you can employ or get someone to take over your social media, your Facebook, your phone. You handle that to your whoever is in charge of you. The person handles that. Make a writing document or make a documentation of whatever has been going on in your absence, so that you as an individual will take yourself off. If you're unable to unplug yourself, you see, one thing about social media, they hail you are the same people that when there is a problem would come and then what crucify you. So if you have that in mind, you should know that you don't have to put all those eggs in that particular basket for those people. So you realize that I am going, I have gotten to the hail me period. I need some rest. I need to stay off. I need to unplug myself from people. I need to rejuvenate. I need to start myself up again and then sit up with my people and then say that I am ready for the next action. I'm ready for the next line of activities. Now, as an individual, you need that. You need in your life. So whoever you are, whatever you are doing, you might not have gotten to that level, but at least there are days you stay off and then get some rest. You see, your body, that is when you stay off those, but that is when you need to be listening to music. That is when you need to be listening to those soul music, those country music, those songs that speaks to your soul. You understand? Then it helps psych you up. You come back again, and then you pick up from wherever you go to. You pick up from wherever you're. If you are not that person that can hand over, you pick up from wherever you go to. You can reply those messages that you missed. It is not compulsory that you should always reply all the messages that comes. So if you have been off a week and you come back and there are messages that are behind you, if they are not pressing enough, you could respond to those messages. You can and you feel rejuvenated, you feel so refreshed when you come back. Now you'll be able to even approach things differently because of the rest you took yourself. Because if you were online maybe on Thursday, and then your response would be different from what you would be giving now, because now your brain is refreshed, your brain is started again, and you feel okay. So you even be able to work more productively and then more efficiently if you should take yourself or unplug yourself from the world for some time as an individual.
Wow. So, Doc, is there a certain amount, is there a cap on the amount of rest that an individual needs?
Like I stated, based on what, for instance, now you've made it a wide one in terms of life, but on a daily basis, you there is no specific time for rest, and there's no specific moment for rest. For instance, today is a weekend. I'm at work. I have just taken care of just the patient, so the whole day I took this day off to have an interaction with your viewers. Now, in doing that, someone else is doing what I was supposed to have been doing. There are certain things I was supposed to have been doing. Someone is doing it. Now, when I'm done, I could just go back and then, if there are corrections to be made, I'll quickly correct them and then know what to do. If there is anything I need to sign, if there is anything that I need to do, a referral or anything, I can quickly do it right afterwards. Now, if it's a weekday and then maybe by 12:01, the day has been so stressed for me, I can choose to go for a 15-minute break. I can go for an hour. I can go for 10 minutes, depending on what I really need at that particular time. I need to stand in front of a class to lecture. I realize I'm having a cold feet. I need a little massage. How long does a massage take? Oh, it's a 30
Depends
minutes.
how long you want it to go.
So you just go for that massage, and then you feel strong to stand in front of the class for the next section. So there is no specific time, or there is no cap on rest. There is a cap on sleep, which is even a cap on sleep is a problem, because ideally the body, based on your age,
Yeah,
when
everybody's body is
between
different.
0 to 20 to 25, in about 10 to 12 hours of sleep. Between 25
Hey,
and
and yeah, some of us we are lucky because 10 to 12 hours. People will
you know
say that.
get it.
People will say, Doc. People will say that I cannot take rest because I need this thing done. I need
You
that
know,
done. I need that done.
in Ghana, when you sleep, by the time you wake up, the government is say, I can wait. They've taken you, they are way ahead of you. So you can't have that sleep. You understand? But whatever be it, you need to have that. So if you can't get that sleep, fine, because we are staying by plans. We are working with time, so you can't have. But that 15 minutes nap. You see, one interesting thing about nap, for instance, I'm moving from, for instance, I'm from office to circle where I teach as well. So within that time, I realize I am tired. I have a class as well, so I come to work between 6:40. I'm at work, and then I have a lectures on Wednesdays between the hours of 2 and then 4 at the school in circle. So what I need to do is that I either will pick. I normally I'll pick. Let me just give credit. I'll pick a boat. So I drive. I'll just park my car and then I'll pick a boat. Now I tell the boat driver I'm going to maybe Sikkim and Bar University. That's where I'm going to teach. I'm going to Academic State University. That's where I'm going to teach. So kindly drive me. Let me know when we get there. Now you sit at the back. You take some rest. So within that traffic period, you have slept. You get to class, you feel rejuvenated. Now, when you are after lecturing, you sit back in the car, you sit back, and then you come back. In the process, you could still choose to rest, or you can choose to relax and then respond to your phone calls, respond to the WhatsApp messages that have come, respond to, or go online to go and look at what is happening. So these are things you could do within that period.
Wow. Wow. Thanks for joining, Labi. Thanks for joining, Wilson. Please share to be a blessing to others as we wrap up and a little bit more, go a little bit more before we wrap up here. So, Doc, now with rest and sleep, is it safe to say that one needs to add or incorporate exercise in their life in order to help them when it comes to resting? Or you would say that no, exercise is not something that will help?
Okay, exercise is one thing that helps. Is it as individuals, as we go about our daily works, one thing we should know is that, like we stated, the body there is wear and tear. In accounting, we call it depreciation. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So the body needs to. You are eating, you are drinking, you are taking in sweets, you are doing so many things. Now, in the process, there is digestion. In the digestive process, one thing we should always know is that we are not able to bring out all the excess of things that we have eaten. So sometimes the other way to shred it off is to exercise. So one needs exercise. Exercise is also a different thing on itself. We need rest, we need sleep, and we need exercise as well. So the exercise is also one of the things that we need as an individual to be able to get itself moving. Now, you realize that somebody who does much exercise is able to have a good rest. And then
Okay.
someone who does no exercise is unable to rest at some point in time because definitely the body, some part of the body needs to be active. For instance, the kidneys, the livers, the lungs, they need to be active to be able to even help with the breathing in and out to be able to sleep. You understand? So all these are things we need to look out for as individuals. So exercise is also one thing that is very, very, very promising.
Well, so viewers, if you haven't incorporated exercise in your daily life, then please start doing something. Doc, are there types of rest? Do we have type of rest? Do we have the ABC types of rest that as beginners can, let's say if you starting to rest, because as I said, most of us don't do it. Most of us do not take rest. So are there type of rest that people need to start with if they are they haven't been doing that and they just want to start or they just about to start? But somebody, before you answer that question, somebody has, Doc, what about us? We are doing everything past, but sleep is not coming. I run, I walk, I swim, but sleep is not coming. What remedy do we give to this person? What do we tell this person? How do we have this person move from not getting sleep, from doing all this thing to doing it?
All right. So with such a person, he or she is doing all the exercises, doing all the other things that he or she needs. You see, you let me use it to answer the person's Let me use the types of rest to answer the person. Now, there are several types. We have the mental rest, we have the spiritual rest, we have the emotional rest, we have the social rest, and then the creative rest. Now, these are all types of rest that as an individual you need. The emotional one maybe is what that person is lacking. There are people, instead of resting, the moment they feel relaxed and then they want to maybe just go back in their chairs to relax, an issue mentally just pops up. For instance, there's a fees to be paid, there's a health condition to be met, there's something to be done that wasn't done. Sometimes even a relationship issue that
Yep.
hasn't been able to. You understand? These things then quickly drops in your mind. Then your heartbeat changes. Now it no longer beats at 60 beats per minute. Now it's going to 80, 120. What it means is that now there's enough blood being pumped from the heart.
Yep.
And if there's blood that has been pumped from the heart, there's no way you're going to have that sleep that you need. So definitely you are going to have some disorderliness in your rest and then sleep. So you should have that in mind. Now, the spiritual rest. As individuals, there are days, for instance, yes, you need a spiritual rest as well. You need to take. We are Christians, we are Muslims, we are Hinduism, we are people. Yes, there is something we believe in, but there are days you need to take. There are some people who are afraid to close their eyes because they are afraid they might even die. You understand?
Doc,
Because
let me circle back. The person has wrote a second question. He says, because I did night shift for long, my system can just phantom. My little daughter too, who is also 4 years, is having similar experiences like me. We only sleep 3 GMT every day. That the sleep comes normally. What do we do?
Okay, so you see, like she has just said, the body has gotten used to a particular cycle she's in, and then the child has automatically also picked up that type of attitude or rest from the
Daddy ain't sleeping or mommy ain't sleeping, so why should I?
well, you understand. So that is it. So the baby, the child knows that this is the time we sleep. We sleep at 3. So now it's 3 that he or she also now begins to want to have a sleep. Quite unfortunate, between 3 and 6 is just 2 hours. So it means you're going to have a very short rest period.
Yep.
So these are things, like I said. So over time, with such a person, she needs to psych herself up, then bring the child also in. Now, children, basically, we are just a replica of what our kids do. If our kids always see us on phone, what it means is that they would also begin to love phones. If our kids see us reading books, they also begin to they'll be like, Daddy, what are you reading? Mom, what are you reading? Can I read along? Oh, these are adult book. Have a baby book. You understand? So baby knows that, oh, mommy is reading, so I'm also reading. It's the same way. Mommy is not sleeping. Why is mommy not sleeping? Let me find out why mommy is not sleeping. Baby comes to mommy. Now, baby realizes that at 3, mommy sleeps. Like, well, mommy is now sleeping. Let me also try to sleep. So it becomes a part and parcel of their life. So to correct that, she needs to now change. She needs a new mindset. If she's unable to sleep, she should try to let baby know that this is the reason I'm unable to sleep. But you need to sleep. And over
So in
time,
that
baby,
case, can the person in order for the child not to get to that space where now they behaving like the parent, but in order for it not to get worse, can the parent say that I know I cannot sleep, but I'm going to sleep, I'm going to lay down with you at this
good.
time, so you have a sleep pattern, so you have a time frame of when you have to go to bed, so that your body can tune up to that.
Good. Yes, that is it. Let me use this to explain. You see, there are times the mommy is unable to sleep, trying to force the child to sleep, and mommy is on phone. The lights are on.
Guilty.
You understand? So basically, the child will be wanting to know why mommy wants me to sleep, and she is on her phone. You understand? So if mommy would want a baby to sleep, what you need to do is that turn off the lights, turn off your phone, get out of the TV room, go to the bedroom with the child, off, and then try sleep beside the baby. When the baby feels warm and then wrapped around either the mom or the dad, within a mostly 15 minutes, baby should be asleep. Now, when baby sleeps, you can get up again. Since you're unable to sleep, you can get up and then go continue whatever you are doing till you sleep. That way, you've been able to correct the baby's on, whilst you take time to correct yours. You understand? But if you are trying to force baby to sleep, but you are on your phone and giving instructions, sleep, and then you are still on your phone, sleep. Even if you are using a headset where the baby is unable to hear whatever you are doing, baby sees, and it becomes difficult for that baby or for that child to sleep. So this is one advice to both male and then women parents. Learn that, and then you'll be able to correct your child's condition. And whilst in correcting that, sometimes as a mom, whilst correcting that, you realize that sometimes the mothers even end up sleeping and then leaving the kids still awake. And when the child realizes that, oh,
Yes.
sleep in the process, the child would also try to sleep because mommy or daddy is asleep. So within that time, you realize that you've been able to correct that. And then, like we stated earlier, the other types of sleep, the social sleep, the creative sleeps, all those things, these are it comes as and when. For instance, if like we stated, social media, you are distancing yourself from the society at a point in time. For instance, you're a mom, you are looking out for the fruit of the womb. It's not happening. You've tried all means and it's not happening. Now society is beginning to talk about you. Now, what is the social rest? There's a funeral going on in the village. I can't go. So it is not compulsory. But when you go there are questions that are going to come up. There are things you might have to answer. You didn't have that time to. Just have a rest. Don't go. It is not
So
compulsory.
sometimes it is good to deassociate yourself from
Yes, sometimes
community.
thank you. That's the social rest. You need to ask. So now when we talk of social rest, people think it's just social media rest.
Doc, pause that for a minute. The person has a follow-up question. Thanks for joining, Richie Nanaya Asari. The person says, please, I off everything, sometimes make her cry, but wake up after an hour. Ava will say, Daddy, I am not sleeping. I realize it and stop forcing it. But 3 a.m. when I see sleep is coming, we both sleep, no worries. But this is abnormal for my child.
Yes, that's why I stated it's something that has been over a period of time. So it's not magical. It's not going to take a week for the baby to pick up from a condition that has been on, like she's saying, for almost 3 months. You've been going for night shift, so you can't correct it within just a month. You should know that it's going to take some time. So you, the parent, need to have that process. It's going to be a process something. So with time, you should be able to.
So, with your professional advice, what do you think this parent need to do aside the normal things that we've said, turning off TV, putting phones away, trying to be in bed with the child in order to have that warmth and see what is your professional stand on this person's issue that at least maybe it can give him or her a starting point to start doing some.
Okay. With what she's saying, the baby is just a baby, a kid. So there's no way you can introduce medication to such a baby. So what you
Okay.
should know, one thing you should also look out for, what does the baby drink? There are some kind of, I don't want to, but there are some kind of beverages, there are some kind of sweetness, there are some kind of glucose stuff that would keep a baby being very hyper.
Hyper.
So if for instance you come from work and then the baby is like, mommy, I want to drink something, you give the baby that particular thing to take. What you should know is that baby would not be able to sleep. So you should also look at what you are giving to the baby around the time when you came back from work. Sometimes they come and just do some sandwich and other things for the baby. Now the baby eats and realize that the baby feels heavy. The baby needs to get off those heaviness before he or she is able to sleep. So you should know that these are things maybe the mom is also doing to such a baby and making the baby unable to rest. So all these things from my profession, I would want to advise, or I would advise such a mom to be able to look out for all these things before trying to put the baby to sleep.
Okay. Wow. I wish we can continue with this because so many thoughts, so many questions are coming in, and so many different scenarios are playing in my head. I wish we could. Doc, if somebody needs to be in contact with you, how can they reach you? How can they get in contact with you?
All right.
Because you did mention earlier on what you specialize in. So if somebody needs to get in contact with you, how do they get in contact with you?
Okay, so I'm on Facebook, the same name, Joel Aidan Esa. So they can just go on Facebook, they can send their questions, they can ask for friendship, and then wow, we're going to be friends. If they are in Ghana, they can as well contact me on my phone, and then we can have a chat.
Now, if you say contact you on your phone, are you going to put your number up here so viewers back home can have it, or how does that go? The
okay.
person, Doc, come on once a month, please. Madam, please bring him back. Yes, we'll do our very best, dependent on his availability. We'll do our very best and bring him on here from time to time. So don't worry about that. We will do our very best to get that sorted out. Doc, go on.
Okay, so if you are in Ghana and then you want to reach me, I'm located in Abekan, La Paz, the post office. Okay. Royal Health Clinic, we are around that place. So you can just walk in and then just ask to speak to Joel. That is if
Please
you just
add the doc to it. You can just walk in and
ask I said Joel. Just ask Joel. And then you that is if you just want to say hi. If you want to book an appointment as well, you can just come in and then just book in. Like I said, I do reproductive health. So basically, anything reproductive wise, you can call. You're a mom, you're a dad, you want to know why you're unable to conceive, what is happening in terms of fertility, you can contact me, and then we have a chat. My number in Ghana is 0243 87591.
Please, if you need to write it, then please write, because we're not putting it on here that people would. So if you are on here and you need that, please write it as he is putting it forward. Thank you.
0243 875910. 0243 875910. So you can contact me and then we'll talk. Yeah, that is it.
All right. Thank you so much, Doc, for, as I said, for making time for us. But viewers, we do need to take time to rest. All right. It is very vital for our mental health, our concentration, our stress level, and all that good stuff that comes with it. So please, please, please take time to rest. As I say on here, we learn from each other. We're not putting anybody down. This is where you come. I say this is a home away from home that you come and get all the resources that you need free of charge, with no cost attached to it. So if you haven't followed us yet, please do. If you haven't checked our website out yet, please do adoei.org. And you can click on the join us button on there as we help you help build this community. As I said, there are going to be professionals on there that would answer your questions that you might have free of charge. You will not be looked down upon. You will not be judged or anything. Also, Doc, thank you so much. Thank you. I know you have a busy schedule and I do not want to keep you on here, but you feel free to do so if you want to. But viewers, our Social Impact Project is coming on this July the 29th, the last Saturday of the month. So this time we're opening it up to the public. We are fully opening it up to the public. You are more than welcome to join us as we put smiles on people's faces, the less privileged faces. Let's go spend a day with them and make their day as we bless them with our substance. You can support this worthy cause with your presence, your present, and anything that you wish to. If you say that, hey, Amanda, I cannot make it, but I can support with my substance, then please go to adoei.org. There is a donate button on there, and you can donate to this worthy cause. Also remember, we are 501c company, so that means that when you donate to us, you can write it off in your tax come taxes time. So feel free to look around. I will put it on here, www.adoei.org. Look around, join the community. Let's build this community to where we can fully have it more productive, have good things going on there. So far, when you go on there, you can also see what we've done in the past in terms of our social impact project for last year when we started. You can look around. You can, if you want souvenirs for ADOEI, you can purchase on there. We have t-shirt, we have ball cap, we have diary, we have mugs and all that. That proceeds go into we using that to support the orphanages back in Ghana. As I also said, you are more than welcome to join us this year for that. There will be more information forthcoming as and when we go. But currently, we are in the process of putting things in place. Our goods have landed on the shores of Africa, and we are planning the next step in the social impact project. So you are more than welcome to join us. If that is what you want to do, then inbox us on here or on our website, send us a message, contact us, send us a message on our info.adoei.org, and we will be able to get back to you. But thank you so much to my audience here. I appreciate you. As I always say, without you, there will not be any ADOEI. If you don't know what this is, if you haven't followed us yet on Facebook here, please do turn the notification button on. That way, when we come, you would get the notified that we are on, and you can join us. We learn from each other. I love you all, and there is nothing you can do about it. To my team, my board of directors, my family, thank you so much for the support that you have been given to this course. Without you, yes, I might be the founder of this, but without you, the audience and everybody that is involved, we will not be able to be here and bring you this educative programs every Saturday morning, come rain or shine. We are here every Saturday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. GMT time. Make a date with us. If you think there is topics that you want us to also discuss, you are more than welcome to inbox us with that, and then we will always take that into consideration. My Joyce, I see you on here. Thanks for joining today as well. Thank you so much for the support. That is my mother-in-law right there. Thank you so much for the support that you've been given for this room. So thank you. Until we meet again next week, have a blissful Saturday. Have a fruitful week ahead. Let's get some more winnings out there. If you need more information about the Social Impact Project, please feel free to text me or inbox me on our social media handles, and I'll definitely get back to you. Until then, stay blessed. I sign out. Have a blissful Saturday morning, and stay blessed once again. Bye for now. Thank you all so much. We will meet again next Saturday. Bye.